Hi, and welcome into the Ranch Sit Down. Our guest today, Dustin Brown.
How's it going, everybody? I'm going to play you an unreleased song here. It's called You, Me, and the Rest. Headed down to the quarry with a lot there on my mind. Well, I want to get lost. We ain't got no goddamn pines. Hackberries and oak trees, mesquite in the fence line. I've rushed to many things, but this I'll take my time. With me and Lou and the children too, lying on a couch in a house I was built for moving to. And I really don't care when your hair is in my eye and a little heel there in my gut when I sleep at night. Jump behind the steering wheel, the windshield it'll heal. Used to be all I need, but now it is too real. Truck stops and interstates, I bet I could kill. I'd give anything for time to just stand still. With you and Lou and the children too, lying on a couch in a house I was built for moving to. And I really don't care when your hair is in my eye and a little heel there in my gut when I sleep at night. Well, they say you settle down someday, and I don't know why, but I would like to stay with you and Lou and the children too, lying on a couch in a house that was built for moving to. And I really don't care when your hair is in my eye and a little heel there in my gut when I sleep at night.
Well done, man. Well done.
Thank you, dude.
Dustin Brown hanging out with us. His new album is called Dustin Brown. You went really deep on the title of that one.
Yeah, real deep.
And by the way, apparently number 8, you talk with the potty mouth. What it
Yeah.
says on here.
Is
It
it?
says it's FCC sensitive on track number 8.
I wonder. Oh, yeah, that was the one I was talking about when we first got in here.
Oh, yeah. That's the
Yeah.
one you might not play.
Yeah, that's the. Yeah, I mean, I could play it, though. It's not super bad.
So you just released the third full-length album. You're pushing this one Americana, so you're actually getting some recognition like across the country, and some big names that I've known, folks involved in the music scene for a while, have like, have you heard of this Dustin Brown? Have you heard of it? Like, yeah, I've heard of Dustin
Get
Brown.
outta here.
It's been fun to watch you grow and develop, man, to now to a point where you're getting some recognition across the nation. How does that feel?
Man, it's news to me. I didn't know I was getting recognition.
Oh, you don't know this? Oh
No.
my gosh, yeah. There's
that feels pretty good.
there's some big names in the music industry that are talking about you right now.
No way, man. I know we got Angela's been doing the radio promotion stuff, but I haven't. We haven't got a report back yet. So yeah, that's the kind of news to me. It's good to hear.
Like, yeah, you've made an impact for sure. So you
cool.
grew up in Moody, Texas. a very, very small town in Texas. Do you feel like
Yeah.
growing up in I grew up in Dublin, so, it was like 2,200, so it's probably a metropolis compared to Moody.
Oh,
We
about
had
1,800.
We had 2 lights. I don't like to brag.
We had one, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've been through
We had
Moody.
2 gas stations, though.
Oh, hell, you may have us beat on that.
But they didn't get credit card swipers till like 3-4 years ago.
Oh, do they have, the machine?
Yeah. No, you had to, I'm saying like at the pump, you still had to go inside. So if it was too late at night, you couldn't even get gas.
Oh,
like,
God.
So like scanning at the pump, you couldn't do it till a few years ago.
That's frightening. Do you feel like growing up in a small town like that has influenced your songwriting?
Yeah, I think so. For better, for worse.
Right. Yeah. You never really know, do you?
Right.
You spent, I understand, a lot of your childhood alone. Tell us about that.
Yeah, just I have 3 sisters, but they were all kind of out of the house by the time I came along. I think I was in the house with my youngest sister for a few years, and she left the house. And then both my parents had like full-time jobs, and I was either running around out behind my mom's work or out at the house just to run around the woods and stuff and hanging out in the fields.
I think you and I grew up a lot alike. If our parents knew where we were, they probably would have freaked out.
Yeah, there wasn't no cell phones, so
it was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I just I think there was telekinesis, so I always knew when I was probably in the hot seat. And when I came home, they'd be a search party kind of going on,
right?
Gone
Yeah.
all day. They got when I'd see my dad running around with the tractor, I knew like, okay,
He's out
better
searching
head back,
for you.
yeah.
He is. So what were you doing when you're out there running around by yourself?
Man, just run around with a BB gun, kind of looking for frogs and stuff to
shooting armadillos for
yeah,
you.
yeah,
See how high
something
they
like that.
jump. Yeah, sorry, PETA.
yeah. It's different times, but yeah, man, I think just a lot of imagination, just kind of walking around, wandering, honestly. So we kind of lived out in the rolling hills of Moody.
Okay.
And then like the tree lines are all like down in the creeks. You go down
Yeah.
the creek, and it just felt like you were on a raging river,
Like
and
you're Tom Sawyer
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah. get rolled around the mud, picking blackberries and eating them right off the vine and stuff.
Oh,
and
man.
catching perch and things.
That's a good childhood.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It's pretty good. It definitely probably hindered my social skills a little bit, but besides that, I can't be too bad.
I mean, you don't have to be social. You just get on the stage with 100 people looking at you.
Yeah,
What do you got to do that for?
Well, see, that part sometimes it's easier. It's the sitting across the table talking to somebody that you just met, like yourself, or well, not just met, but or like do the songwriter rooms, and there's people sitting like 5 feet away listening to every word, which is what you want till you get it, and then you're kind of like, oh man, they're all paying attention. You kind of wish you were back in a bar with 100 people not paying attention at all. So.
You hear that from a lot of artists that it's harder to play in a room with 6 people than it is to play in a room with 160.
Yeah. I mean, as long as I got a nice buzz, I could do either.
Right.
But yeah,
yeah, you were like, man, it's awfully early and I hadn't even had a beer yet.
Right. if those 6 people I know well, then yeah, it's not too terrible. But yeah, I'd say the bigger the crowd, you can definitely kind of just stare off, and to the back of the bar or back of the room, and get away with it.
Just escape from them for
Right.
sure. So what influenced Dustin Brown to get into the music business in the first place? Are there musicians in your family somewhere?
Yeah, so 2 of my sisters sang together and like played guitars.
Mm-hmm.
When they were kids, like in nursing homes and kind of stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool.
And then we had my granddad. He was kind of like a champion fiddle player.
Oh, really?
He's kind of but he still like worked and cut cedar posts and whatnot, hauled gravel. But but in the meantime, he played fiddle, and they did I guess over here at like McLennan Crossing, like outside of Waco, and then they were down in Bell County, like near Moffett area.
Yeah.
But they do these big fiddle competitions, and I always forget the guy's name, but a pretty big fiddle player of the time like came through, and they did a little fiddle competition, and he like kind of was like, yeah, you're awesome, and tried to like take him on the road, and he's like, hey, I got a family and stuff. And I guess back then you could just kind of run off on your family and get away with it. He's like, yeah, come on, man, we'll pay all your stuff, and like really was trying to convince him to come out with him. But yeah, luckily my granddad didn't do that. Didn't abandon his family.
It seems like it's those old guys that just work their ass off all week long and then would hit the VFW on Saturday night and go out and just fiddle or play banjo that were always the best musicians.
Yeah. I unfortunately never got to see him play or hear him play, but yeah, I think having that like I don't know, maybe history to the family or something, it kind of makes you, I don't know, feel obligated, or maybe that you can do it too, because
it's in
there's
your
a whole
bloodline.
Sure, yeah. You hear that a bunch, and you're like, okay, I can do it. And it's taken me a long time to figure it out. I'm still figuring it out, but yeah. that's kind of the influences there, I think.
So you think you still haven't figured it out?
I think I'm getting better all the time. I figured it out, but I'm getting better.
When do you feel like you figured out that this is actually something you could do? Do you remember what age you were, what moment that was?
Right now, what time is it?
Yeah, I mean, Dustin, you've gotten on a podcast now. It's a big deal.
Yeah. No, man, like, like what you were just saying a minute ago, for getting some stuff going across the country and just being here, the ranch and everything's always been a big deal. Any radio is kind of a big deal. So it feels good to get some recognition. Feel like maybe I could do it, But I'd say 2018 or so, moved back to Texas, and we did the Larry Joe Taylor showcase, out there.
Yeah.
And I just kind of come back to town and kind of got back into music after chasing some work stuff for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I made it pretty far in that whole deal. And then there was unfortunately or fortunately, whatever you want to say it, there was a part there, like, win or lose, everybody's standing here in this room, you could do it. Like, they named all the people who didn't win, like, went on to do it, and that's all my delusional brain needed to hear. I was like, I can do this. So.
If they couldn't do this, then I can. Yeah.
So yeah, just kind of been pursuing it heavy again since like 2018.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, that is one of those contests that, like, you hear the names that won and you're like, wow, and you hear the names that didn't win, you're like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy how many good songs. Like, they kicked it off. As we're recording this, they kicked it off yesterday, the first week, and I already saw some people that didn't make it out of the first round. I'm like, they're established artists. Like, that is one of those things that some really established artists end up being a part of. Sure. It's really, really cool. You backpacked through South America and the Philippines?
Yeah.
Where did that come from? What sparks that idea?
Yeah, just having, like I was talking about, my folks, they're a little older, and, my dad, he's worked his butt off his whole life and everything. And always, since I was, as a little kid, he was already, in his 50s. And he was sitting there talking about, one day when we retire and we do this, we're going to travel to, just the Grand Canyon, Yellowstone, all that, the kind of normal stuff. And I've just slowly watched the years go by, and it's never happened. And, I had my own little, like, quarter life crisis. I was like, I need to go do all this when I can. And, I started traveling.
Because you don't want to be the guy that talked about it all the time.
I guess so. And
it's understandable that happened. Life gets in the way sometimes.
Right, yeah. And it ain't no shade on my old man. He's been around. He was like a truck driver, so he's been all over the country.
Really?
But just not got to experience a lot of it. So
yeah, he just got to pass by and pass through. Yeah.
Right. But it was that, and then you hear all these. It's kind of even with, like, what got me back into music, because I didn't want to wake up one day and be like, oh, I didn't try it. I didn't give it something. It's one thing to try, give it your all, and quit, I guess. And then the same thing with the traveling and stuff. It was just, it was a time in my life I just wanted to say I did some things and seen some stuff. So
that's very cool. You worked on this latest album with my buddy Ben Hussey.
Yes, sir.
Love that guy.
Yeah, he's a gem.
He's a stickler.
Yeah,
hard work, isn't he?
Oh yeah, yeah, and he makes you. Yeah, makes us work hard anyway. He ain't like a punch in kind of guy. He wants you to retake the whole thing.
Right.
10
yeah.
times, but we get good stuff out of it.
Yeah, you guys did get some really good stuff off this album. The album is really incredible. Here it is again. It's called Dustin Brown. The title is Dustin Brown, and don't listen to track number 8 in front of your kids.
Oh, it ain't that bad. It ain't that bad. The curse word in there is in the Bible.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't think that makes it a curse word, man.
I don't know. It's FCC in the Bible is a different thing.
That's true. So when people listen to your music, Dustin, what's the one thing you would like them to take from that experience?
That's a good question. I don't know. Just it's really just kind of, to be honest, just kind of my diaries, out in a song, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So never really intended anybody to take anything from it, except other than maybe a feeling, At least when I play them live and stuff, it's always nice when somebody comes up afterwards and they felt it too, maybe in their own way, totally different than how you wrote it, But so if I had to say or answer that question, just feel something and, get an emotion out of it that makes them feel a certain way.
Very cool. I bet that is pretty interesting when somebody comes up and says, that song you wrote, man, it is all about this and this and this, and you're thinking in the back of your head, it had nothing to do with that.
Nothing at all, yeah.
But to me, that's a really good songwriter that can do that doesn't make it too wordy, where it's just the right amount of words where it can be interpreted in different versions for people, and then that way you can reach a whole different audience that way.
Yeah, and that's actually it's funny you bring that up. That's kind of what this whole album kind of was. Um, I think in the past, like I've tried really hard to be like maybe real different, or get too wordy and try to get too heady on things. And whereas this one, I don't know what we've been saying the whole time. It's just kind of getting out of my own way and just
Mm-hmm.
and I had all these songs that they just kind of fall out on the table,
Mm-hmm.
and the really heady ones do that too. But I just kind of have this backlog of songs that I figured like sounded too much like this or too much like that, and kind of I don't want to do that. I don't want to pursue that. Then you show them to the band, they're like, "No, man, these are fun. They're good because of those reasons. Let's play them." And then yeah, I went back in the writing and kind of did some editing for that very reason. So this album was kind of intended with that like thought and process
Really?
with the writing to kind of make things not. There's a few of the songs like 29th of March is very pointed. It's you can't really extrapolate on that one. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the rest of them tried to leave it open and to interpretation and just keep everybody. I guess kind of from that pop angle, you're just making it not making a song that people will, love, or making it for people, but just making it open enough that they can take it and run with it, I guess.
Find it interesting that you named a song after the same date that you're going to do the album release party. That's pretty smart for your booking. Like, look, man, I already named a song after this.
Yeah.
March 29th, you're going to be at the Cicada for the big album release.
Yes, sir.
Cool place. Brooks
Yeah,
and
I
that
love
crew
them.
over there are really good folks, man. That's a really good place. That tells me that you're a good singer-songwriter
No.
when you get to do an album release at a place like that.
Yeah, they definitely do a good job keeping the songwriters in there and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Good home for it.
Absolutely. What's the next goal for your music career? You got to set goals, attainable goals, and then move on to the next one and the next level. What's the next one for Dustin Brown?
Yeah, I think that's kind of what we were also with this album. Kind of the goal was get this out, maybe get enough recognition that we can. We've always booked for ourselves and everything, and just kind of played the bar, restaurant kind of scene for a long time, and really trying to take this album, maybe get some representation, take that next step, and kind of get in the opening slot, where we're going around opening for bigger bands and stuff like that, playing really good venues and things, kind of in the middle tier. So whereas, yeah, just kind of getting out of the barbecue and stuff,
Right.
the restaurant.
So it sounds like this is an album for the "Hi, it's me, I'm Dustin Brown."
Yeah, that's
a great idea.
That's kind of why, naming it, even though it's the third album, like doing a self-titled, really felt like I said, the other two, I stand by the writing and stuff, but trying to find the voice, trying to find the sound. Whereas this one, that's why I wanted to self-title it. It's just kind of like even though it's the third album technically, it's just kind of like an introduction of like, hey, this is who I am. This is what we're doing. If you like this, like more of this to come.
So you feel like you found yourself in music?
Yeah, for sure.
That's got to be a really good feeling.
Yeah, it's been. I mean, I can't deny the fact that the first album I thought was the best thing ever.
Well,
and
you're supposed to. That's your newest baby. Yeah.
Right. So with that knowledge in mind, I know this one a few years from now I'll find things wrong with it, but that's the whole point of growing, and so I want to just keep making better stuff from here on out, and perfecting like the voice and stuff, and like I said, on the writing side of things is really just kind of more like I did on this one, is steering away from the like Bob Dylan-esque, like too wordy, too heady kind of stuff, and just just be myself and like let my own like kind of vernacular come out, my own just like just me.
Get
even
out
like
of your own way, man.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, quit trying to be something that I'm not. Like even with the way I'm dressing and stuff. Like I used to have like long hair. Used to have, like the hat. Did everything that I thought like a musician's supposed to look like.
Oh
you
yeah.
know? And now I'm just like, no, this is me. Like, I'm gonna go out in a t-shirt. I'm gonna go out in a whatever. And, might put a hat or something cool on every now and then, but
it's being genuine that I think an audience accepts more. That's the thing about it. Like when you're really who you are and a genuine person, then me as a fan, I'm like, I like this guy. He is who he is. I can relate to that because everybody's got to be yourself. But yeah, there's nothing worse for me as a radio programmer when a promotion person says, "Hey, you love this band. They sound exactly like so and so." And I was like, "Well, I'm already playing so and so." Like, yeah.
Right.
So if you're yourself, then that's really how you stand out. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think you hear that too from like listening to other podcasts, like with like bigger artists and things like that. And it almost sounds cliche. It's like, oh, just be yourself. You hear that your whole life.
Oh,
Your
yeah.
parents tell you that. Your family tells you that. Your coaches or whatever. Just be yourself. But that is the truth. It is just like, because people can sniff it out when you're out there with like, yeah, like, I don't know if you can even imagine.
It's hard not to name names, I know.
Right. Well, I'll just myself, yeah, out there like long hair and like hats and trying to wear vests and just look all cool and stuff. And then like,
Oh, did you do the vest?
oh yeah, I wore every cringy thing ever.
We all went through that phase. Yeah, we went through that phase. I see old pictures of me in vest. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
What was I doing?
But yeah, it's just like, I think, and two, it's not so much like some big marketing plan, which I mean, it was what's kind of happening now, but really it was more like coming into my own, just myself before we did this album. And I had a friend kind of help me work my voice out and pick out the things that like, hey, this is good when you do this is not so good. And, kind of smooth that out. And then that kind of even changed my writing. And then, yeah, this album just kind of came up. It started as like an EP, and then we got to working with the promoters and stuff, and they were like, well, we need an album. It's like, well, we got the songs.
Like,
if y'all are interested,
if you guys are ready, let's do it.
If y'all want it, we'll do it. So
that's fantastic. So the album release show is coming up March 29th, Cicada here in Fort Worth. Dustin Brown, you want to do one more song for us?
Sure.
I would love that.
Let me silence his phone since it doesn't go off again.
Oh, it's all good. We have lives. It's fine.
Actually, my drummer, Christopher Smith's calling me.
By the way, I like the line that you have in here, the Bukowski line.
Yeah.
In here. Let me put that up there real quick for people to read that. Some people never go crazy. That what truly horrible lives they must live. It's kind of concerning, but really good.
I think most of Bukowski's a little concerning, but
right. All right. What are we going to hear here, Dustin?
I'll just do another unreleased one. If you want to hear the stuff on the album, you can listen here on the ranch.
Yep. We're playing Burn. Just started playing that. Man, that's such a good song.
Thank you, man.
Such a good song.
Yeah, a lot of people have been, giving me a lot of love for it. So it's
good.
To
I'm glad to hear that.
Like. But yeah, if you want to hear those songs, check out the album. I'll play another unreleased one, maybe soon to release.
Or come out to the Cicada on the 29th.
Yeah, I might just do it on that time too. Yeah, I was telling you about my granddad and stuff. That's kind of what this song's about. It's called Cedar Chopper. From below, go and dry your tears. The hurting will come this time of year, and all your dreams, they'll disappear. Like the oil in them fields over there. Now the company man, he's a son of a bitch. He sold us out. No more retirements. And now he lives in a mansion with a birdie blonde and a red Corvette. I've worked all my life and I don't regret. I ain't got a dime and 50 cents. Came by a Coke. No, I came by shit. And I'll lose my mind if it ain't gone yet. Yeah, we'll just cut post. It's what a cedar chopper does. Baroque and a long with a stump in the woods. And when we die, they'll find our blood painted in them breaks where a grove once stood.
Very, very nice. Dustin Brown hanging out with us here on the Ranch Sit Down. Again, the album release party, March 29th at Cicada here in Fort Worth. The new album, Dustin Brown. Make sure you pick that up as well. You'll have that available at the show, I'm hoping.
Yeah, we'll have some of those CDs available, and we got some vinyl on order, but it's a little behind. So we'll do like pre-sales.
A lot of vinyl's behind right now.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy. Everybody's
well,
going back to it. It's cool, man.
Yeah, I wasn't going to do it. No, we had a sponsor come through who wanted some. And I was
Very
like, well, I
nice.
can't afford it. And they were like, or not afford to have them sit in my closet. They're like, well, we'll pay for them. So,
Yeah.
okay.
That's great.
So, yeah, we're going to
man.
have some vinyl, probably end of April or so.
I think you have found your sound, Dustin.
Oh, thank you.
You have, man. Like I said earlier, it's been really fun to watch you develop, and you could tell that the talent was there, and, man, you've got it.
Thank you.
You really do. Thank you so much for joining us today, man. I appreciate it a lot.
I appreciate y'all having me.
Dustin Brown, everybody.